the early 60s. His appearances have been largely limited to the central New York area for the past few years. However, he did achieve a measure of national fame in the early 70s with a band called Free Will. We'll hear Joe talk about his hopes for the future, and later join him and the Bandit Band at a recording session.
I started playing saxophone in 1961. I was going to be a drummer and just talked out of it at the last minute. Played surf music and instrumentals in a four-piece band. Played out for the first time in 1963, and I've played in one form or another with different people since then, almost 20 years. The people that have influenced me pretty much are the same people that influenced me today. One of the first persons that I ever saw on the screen was Elvis Presley in his first movie. Influenced me very much. One of the first performers I ever saw on TV was Jerry Lee Lewis. It still influences me today. One of my first loves, music-wise, that I heard on the radio was Ray Charles, who any singer, any good singer as far as I'm concerned, it has to be influenced by Ray Charles.
I got nowhere to turn to, tired of being alone. I feel like waking up somebody's home. I got nowhere to turn to, tired of being alone. Feel like waking up somebody's home.
Well, hey, son offered some cheeseburgers and a couple of cases of beer, and we're making an all-night party out here. Playing the Central New York circuit used to bother me. When we first started playing, it was just fun. You were playing anywhere, it didn't make any difference. When we got more serious, you know, all you had was hopes of getting a record deal and playing out, you know, across the country, in the world. When we first signed our record deal, the first thing that we did was stop playing locally, which was probably the biggest mistake that we could have made at the time, but who knew? Now, I realize that people are people anywhere. If you can appeal to someone in Central New York for the same reasons you can appeal to them in Fort Worth, Texas, Los Angeles, California, it doesn't make any difference where you're playing. If you're a performer and a professional, you get off on what you're playing and who you're playing for.
What's wrong with me? Don't turn your back on me. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
Mick broke a string. Okay, take 5. We were signed to RCA Records essentially because of a promoter who had worked with RCA in the past. We signed pretty much similar to the deal I think 805 has just signed with RCA. A minimum of 2 albums with options extending over a period of 5 years. The problem was, which going back to the question you said earlier about stopping playing, that's what got us where we were. That's what got us the deal. We turned into a good live act and had original material. And when we stopped playing, the band was never the same, ever the same. By the time we got in to record the album, we had better live tapes than anything that came out on the first album. Consequently, RCA was very sour on the group, received virtually no support, virtually, with the exception of in our hometown and surrounding area, virtually no airplay or sales. The second album was approached a little more seriously. It was a better product, but it suffered from indifferent production, band that did not really have its head together, myself included. Still indifferent attitude by the record company. We did get some spot airplay with it, and we actually did have local hits in other areas other than our own. But when it came up for them to renew the option, our contract called for a 3rd album. They wanted to do a single first, and it was a mutually dissatisfying arrangement, so they actually paid us to leave. We signed with RCA Records in 1971. The band was a group called Free Will, consisted of myself and Mark Doyle, who now is playing with Meatloaf and has played with Andy Pratt and Cindy Bullens. We were the nucleus of the band. They never liked the name Free Will. They came up with some horribly bogus titles for it. Bulldog Drummond was one they really liked. Finally, somehow we settled on Juke and Bone, whatever that means, and that's how we got signed with RCA.
Speaking up and nothing, it's not hard to be heard. But doing so much different, well, it's so hard to keep your word. Seeing it is easy when you see it just to please me. Seeing it is easy when you see it just to please me. Don't give me speculation on what you're gonna do. Don't throw me on hoping what you say is true. I know it's not. Seeing it is easy when you say it just to please me. Seeing it is easy when you say it just to please me. All right.
I don't want to be a superstar because I don't perceive myself as that. I would never perceive myself. When I first started out, when we first signed a record, that's what I looked at. I want to be a superstar. I want to have people pick me up wherever I go. I want to have someone take me to the bathroom. I want to have someone change my clothes for me. But that stuff doesn't interest me. What interests me is the profession and the craft that I've chosen, that I've worked very hard and very long at. And what I want to be recognized for, aside from a person, which, let's face it, no one really knows you as a person but your friends. But what I want people to recognize me for, I think, is a serious professional and performer with something unique and different to offer.
Mama always told me, she said, son, you better watch your step. There's gonna be some things that you have to learn. You're gonna need all the help you can get. Well, I didn't pay it much attention. I thought the only one I needed was me. Well, now I know what she was talking about. I know the way it's gonna be. I said, I'm convinced. I believe what I see. I won't doubt it no more. You made a believer out of me. Sometimes things can happen. Nobody what's on your mind. How can you compare me to somebody